Hey guys, we're back on our Sunday walk and we're back in Draper Park again. It's our favorite little walk, mainly because of this little puppy right here.
Hey, she says hello.
So we were just talking and decided to turn on our camera. We were just talking about a podcast Lynn was listening to. We tend to pick up things during our week and that's what we talk about and what we share. And this one was about your identity and how you see yourself, how your subconscious sees yourself, and it tends to dictate how we behave. This wasn't what we were just talking about. Lynn was talking about personal identity, but it made me also think of our financial identity, how some people sabotage themselves when they make some money. It's almost like they get rid of it because they don't see themselves as being financially secure or being wealthy, and so they do things that are destructive in their life to get back to their comfort zone. So that's what I thought of when she was talking about the personal identity,
which is really crazy because that's exactly the first thing that they started talking about on the podcast was financial identity. And how people do sabotage. So I think it's funny that Jeff brought that up because he hasn't listened to it. But it is the power of your mind. Victoria Gallagher, if you ever want to watch her podcast. But mindset is a really big thing right now, especially with all the social media and the things that are coming at you from all sides. And so that's why I was listening to that. I totally interrupted Jeff, so I'll let him keep going.
No, that's fine. I mean, we were talking about the identity of how we see ourselves. I just was mentioning what I thought of first, is because it's kind of prevalent in some people's lives, and I notice examples of people that kind of self-sabotage themselves. And I think what you were talking about is the same way physically. I didn't listen to the podcast, but we were talking about working out and exercising and getting in shape, and some people sabotage themselves that way too, right?
That's right. Sometimes you can really start getting in great shape, and I don't know if this happens with men, but I know as a woman it happens to me. I get to a certain point sometimes where I'm like, holy cow, I'm really making a big difference, and then all of a sudden it's like my motivation goes a little low. I get super busy, so maybe I don't get up and work out as much, or maybe I'm out on the road driving more and I might stop and get something that's bad for me instead of taking lunch, different things like that. But sabotaging, like literally I've told Jeff before, and I know this seems really weird, but when I do get to that low fat point, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, I don't have enough fat on my body. And that is, I feel like it's my subconscious saying, if you're exactly the fit level you want to be, then what are you gonna have to complain about, or what do you have to work for? I don't know. But listening to that podcast where he was talking about, we have this identity that we've made for ourselves. Now, for me on the financial end, never been an issue because no matter what age I've been, I've always felt like money comes to me. I find pennies, and to me, it's a gift from the universe. Kind of crazy, I know.
Never walk by money and not be grateful when you find it on the ground. Somebody's just left it there like it's worthless. It's like, sends the wrong message.
It's crazy. Those people that never seem to have money, like let's talk about tenants that are always behind, that don't pay their bills. I go in after they move out, and there's coins everywhere. Pennies, nickels, dimes, in the middle of the floor, in their driveway. You will never find money in my house. It's always fully organized.
You mean just laying around?
Yeah, laying around on the floor or what have you.
Discarded.
It's discarded because I respect it, and I'm grateful for that coming to me. But with my identity, I guess being fit and in shape is a really big thing for me. And then the other is I never quite feel like I'm caught up with anything. And that is part of what I tell myself all the time, is how far behind I am, how much I need to do. And so in listening to that podcast, what I took from it, and hopefully you can watch it if you're interested, is that no, I'm not always behind. I can always be ahead. Yes, I know that when you have as many rentals as we do, and as busy as we are as realtors, it's constant paperwork, constant discussions, constant things you're doing, and some of it's repetitive, and so you really aren't ever caught up. But you should be grateful that you have what you
even
have.
when you do get caught up, there's always something else that's next, right? We were talking about this also. There is no done. Like, there is no done to work, to life. You may finish a project, you might finish a transaction, but you're never done because it's just going to start over. You know, you reconcile the bank statements for the month, you got to do it again next month.
Yeah.
So you can get caught up. But so that feeling of always feeling behind is a negative feeling, though, when in actuality, you're just in progress.
But that is, I mean, that's strange to say, yeah, that's part of my identity, is always behind, or, you know, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, I just have so much to do today. And
but it's cool to think about, and it's cool to talk about, and that's why we're sharing some of these walks with you guys, is because maybe you either think about some of the same things, you're going to resonate with them, or you're going to wish you could have this type of conversation with your spouse. I don't know, we were also talking about that, how we're closer than most couples because we have more experiences together, because we work together. It's not just kids and grandkids and, you know, free time and what we do after work, but it's 24/7. It's goal setting, it's planning, it's strategizing together. It's going through, let's go around again. It's going through tough times that really creates bonds, right? People that have developed friendships because of tragedy, because they went through it together, is a good example. Not that you need tragedy to bond, but it tends to be a natural relationship builder. It's like, wow, we got through that together and we now have that in common. Well, we have more experiences in common than the average couple because we share our work, we share our life, everything. And so when we get through things, the point is we got through it, right? And it makes us stronger because of it. And we're doing it together. And we're, I don't know, I feel like that's a big reason why we're so close.
well, and also if you can take constructive criticism, because obviously, you know, Jeff is one way, I'm another way. And when Jeff sees that maybe I'm doing something that I could get better at, or I see something that he could get better at, if we could put our ego aside and actually listen to what the other person's saying.
Yeah.
When you're constantly trying to grow other people, which is what we've been doing for the last couple years, is growing a team that we absolutely love. And we've all on this team had struggles in different ways. Someone on our team just lost her mom, and is really early for her to lose her mom. And I'm thinking about her all the time because I know what it was like when Jeff lost his dad and when I lost my dad, even though I was a bit older. But you feel and love people. And I think just being able to talk about how you can be better at what you're trying to do together from our different personalities has actually been super rewarding.
Yeah.
And little Desi wants down. Whew. Yeah, she's a little warm today, but she's doing really good. Like I said last time, she's on B12 shots. She has energy, she's happy, she's eating good, which actually makes Lynn a lot happier because I'm a feeler. And I felt like I could feel her a little bit. Just an interesting thing on this. I have a massage therapist that I absolutely love, and she is an energy worker. And I was talking to her about Desi because I was really worried about Desi. And she said, Lynn, how are you talking to her? And I'm like, well, I'm sad. She goes, well, you don't think that she feels that? So you need to talk happier to her and let her know how much you love her and how just excited you are about everything. And literally, I'm gonna lose my phone. Desi seems to really respond to that. So she can tell when I'm sad. Yes.
She feels your energy.
And people are that way too. Is that people are drawn to you when you have high energy. And so anyway, that was a little thing that I learned, and it makes me really happy that my little baby is doing well.
Yeah. No, I love podcasts for that reason, is because and that's why we're doing this too, right? It's just perspective. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody looks at things from a little bit different lens. And when you really ponder and you think about it and you're listening so that you can learn and you can grow, you can pick up things everywhere. And one of the things that I love about us is just feeling in charge and in control of our life, as if we're writing our own story instead of living out somebody else's, right? In fact, I saw a quote somebody shared on Facebook the other day. It said something like, I'm excited for the next chapter in the book because I know the author. And they were talking, it was about their life, right? I'm the author of my life. I get to decide if it's going to be action and adventure, romance, mystery, struggle. There's tragedy, there's happiness, there's all of that. And some of it happens to us, but it's how we react and how we play our part in that story, how we're going to experience it, right? Sometimes we're the leading character. Sometimes we're a supporting character. I might be playing a supporting role in her, life story, and vice versa at different times. But it's just an interesting perspective and an interesting way. Are you leaking?
You're leaking. He's leaking.
Sorry, my leg got wet there, and I was like, "Where'd that come from?"
I love what he's saying. For all of you young mamas out there, young dads, this is really interesting because I remember when I was in my 20s and late 20s, had 3 kids, super overwhelmed because we had our own business, we had a huge yard with koi pond and just a lot of work. And I remember sometimes just like feeling so sorry for myself because Jeff was out landscaping, was gone all day, and I had to take care of the yard, take care of the house, I had to take care of the business calls. Yeah. And then I would change my perspective. I say, oh my gosh, I am so lucky to have all of this. And all of a sudden I'm having fun, and I'm singing, and I'm listening to music, and I'm totally enjoying what I have, this gift called life, this one life.
Yeah.
Remember my license plate, just live. Seriously, we got one, and it's all about perspective. And you can make that change if things aren't going the way that you want them to right now. You can make that change within your own mind.
Yeah, back to the analogy of our life story in the book, right? The next page is still blank.
It is. Like all of a sudden.
It hasn't been determined what's going to be on it yet, right? That's kind of exciting.
Guys, I'm always ahead. I am always ahead. I know I've got a lot to do, and I have a lot to do every single day, but the fact that I'm always ahead, now that I've listened to that podcast, and that's what I want to be telling myself or believing. I just feel like my story is going to actually change a little bit.
I love it. Anyway, we love you guys too. Anybody that's listening to that, we're connected with somehow, some way. Maybe you just found this podcast. Subscribe to it. Well, it's not really a podcast right now. We're just a YouTube channel, just playing around with an idea. So we'll see where this leads. We're having fun. We're expounding on some of our conversations because we do want to share, enlighten, and inspire and attract people into our lives that are like us. And that may or may not be you, and that's okay. This isn't for those that aren't interested, obviously. It's for those that are. And so anyway, we love you, and I think we'll sign off for today. We good?
Go enjoy your weekend.
Okay, see you guys.